Welcome back to Euzoia, everyone. This is the Life Maxing podcast. What is Life Maxing?
Woo!
It's how to live a good life. And today we're going to talk about how to maximize friendship and community. So, Christoph, any first thoughts on how to max your friends and community up?
I think it's this weird thing, right? Like when it comes to relationships, we spend so much time obsessing over like finding the right partner, and like there's a whole dating industry and everything. But then somehow like friends and community is always this afterthought, no? You just kind of run into people and it's some kind of stick, and I'm sure like people are more intentional about this, but like I think for a while, at least for myself, like friendships just happened and then
Mm.
some kind of disappeared again. But yeah, if you want to max this, right? If you want to be more intentional about this, I think there's so much you can do. And yeah, for today specifically, I think the idea is like what's kind of the first step of like actually finding the right people. And then I think in the next few episodes we're going to talk about more how to build those friendships and how to be a good friend. Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, great. I'm very curious. I feel like something I've always been meaning to work on. And again, it's just, yeah, like you said, falls to the wayside. I also had a new friend recently, so yeah, curious if how that
How
happened.
did you meet them? How did that friendship happen?
Yeah, so it was someone I guess in my sort of peripheral network,
Right, right.
and I guess we just had a lot in common. And then I think the interesting thing, or at least this is maybe my current understanding, is we started going to the gym together, and that was like our regular.
Yeah.
At the start, maybe like every couple of days, like sometimes daily. So like having the cadence of meeting someone, very often, I think that was maybe the difference. So yeah, I'm curious if that lines up with, the
Yeah, for
research
sure.
or
Like I
the
looked at the data of
document.
like how much time does it actually take to build
Right.
friendships. And yeah, I mean, when you're in college and in university, you just have all this unstructured, repeated data time where you see each other all the time, right? And then it looks like it's like 60 hours for the beginning of a friendship, and like
Hmm.
three times that data varies, but like for like a really good friendship. And maybe that also puts the right expectations, right? This isn't something that just happens. Like you really have to commit
Yeah.
and put in the time.
Hmm.
Yeah. Maybe the first thing, if you think of it like almost like a funnel, right, is of course finding enough people that might become your friends. And for that, I guess a good approach is staying very close to yourself. Like be yourself, and then the people you kind of attract will be the people that fit with
Mm-hmm.
who you are, right? Like if you start out by like trying to be somebody else, and then you attract people who are not like you, and it's going to be a lot of work keeping those friendships because you're pretending something all the time. It's just not gonna work, right? Like so, yeah. That's also I think makes it easier because you don't have to pretend, right? Like really try to be who you are, and this could then mean, for example, go after interests, after activities that you have. For you, that could be going to the gym, right? For me, that's also going to the gym sometimes, but it's also like making music or going to festivals or whatever it is, right? And one thing also should be like, yeah, one is your interests, but the other is also your location and area, right? Like there's
Yeah.
tons of studies, like the further away your friends are, the much harder it's going to be to build and to keep those friendships, just because it's more of a hassle to like see them, and you're not going to just go over for like a quick dinner or something. So yeah, walking distance is ideal. So the way to then find these people is maybe there's like already third spaces in your neighborhood, or maybe there's like local gyms or clubs or whatever it is where you could find people that are, yeah, aligned with your interests and your location.
Yeah, great. My friend lives 8 minutes bike away, so
Yeah,
that
that's what it
that
is. No, yeah.
also fits the thing. I've also seen. I mean, I don't know if we're going to get into this in this episode, but I've also seen these posts about living near people, like trying to get them to live near you. That seems great. Like, I'm currently lobbying some people and trying to get them to move near me. So yeah, like so far, anecdotally, it seems accurate.
Yeah, I think that step is then maybe three steps down the road when you already have built some friendships to get them closer to you.
That's
But
true. That's true.
yeah, living close to people for sure, it's going to solve a lot of this. Yeah, I think on the more practical side of things, of like, okay, like follow your activities, like look in your neighborhood. One thing is just like make time, right? It's so easy to put a lot of time into work, put a lot of time into dating, and then the rest is like going to the gym, sleeping, doing Netflix. And it's easy to kind of let the friendship aspect kind of fall. But actually, if you look at the data, and there's this one like super famous Harvard study, right, where they looked at like people over their whole lifespan and like what was actually the biggest predictor of their happiness and life satisfaction. like it wasn't their job, right? It wasn't how often they went to the gym. It was the relationships they had in their lives, right?
Yeah.
So if this is the biggest predictor of your happiness and even of your longevity, it's like a big predictor, like how strong your relationships are, then make time for them, right? And if there's this like very natural kind of shift where if you don't have a lot of friends, then making time means you just get out there and meet new people. And the more and more you have, like the less and less that getting out there is going to be, and the more and more is just like spending time with those people. But I think mentally, I just think of like try to allocate like X hours a week to intentionally spend time either with friends or meeting new people. And then when it comes to meeting new people, there's always going to be this like hurdle of having to approach new people, right? It's like when you do activities in the gym, in third spaces, maybe you go to church and you meet new people there. It's like there's always going to be this like you have to get out there and actually talk to a stranger you haven't talked before. And that can feel difficult, right? Especially like if you haven't done that a lot in the past. It's like 10 times as hard for dating, but like even for just meeting friends, there's always this like risk of rejection, right? It's right there in your face. And the thing is like people want you to succeed, right? People are super happy when somebody starts talking to them. Like maybe less so when
Mm-hmm.
you like not stop talking for an hour, but I assume that's not happening. So yeah, I think the best way to do that is just train that muscle. Right? Like
Yeah.
a friend of mine just did this like leadership training course, and one of the things they had to do is like find a stranger and get them entangled in a deep conversation, and then get their number. It's like you can play those games, right? Or you could just like have a habit of like trying like every week I'm going to talk to a stranger, and I'm just like somebody I meet somewhere in the queue. Like it is not that hard. No, you talk about like something in your environment. You talk about something you notice about them, you have a short conversation, and maybe it feels good. You go deeper, and maybe it doesn't. Then it's also fine, right? That's why you have those like very short conversations. Yeah, and from there you just see who seems interesting, who doesn't, and ask for
Yeah.
their number. Right? Like, yeah,
I feel like part of it is just putting yourself in situations where you're around enough people that, conversation can start. And like you said, the third spaces, for me, I play poker tournaments. I know, don't gamble. That was part of our previous one. But that for me is like a really good way to meet people because you're just basically
yeah,
sat there with 6 or 7 other people and you're just going to have conversations. So I think if you can go to clubs or like put yourself out there, that's maybe a good starting point as well.
yeah. And then one specific way of like how you can find the people that you know and are sorry, find people aligned with your activities and somehow already easier to meet. Often that's also going to be friends of friends, right? Like so, if you already have a way in, they will host stuff. Just go there, right? Like show up, talk to new people. And often it's also if you move to a new city, and that's like often the case now. Just ask for referrals, right? It sounds like silly, but
Yeah.
like friends
Yeah.
from your old city. It's like who do you know there? Like whom should I meet? And it sounds like so obvious, but like not a lot of people do it. And there's like a high chance, like if your friends like these people, then you probably also gonna like those people, and they're probably also gonna like you. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I'm trying to take a more active role in introducing my friends to each other or like
yeah,
inviting other friends to events like sports and, random social things. So I'm trying to like be more of a person who like helps others get together
yeah.
as well. I think that's like an important social good you can do and helps
I
people
love that.
along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you do that enough. Yeah. Okay, cool. And now the last thing I wanted to talk about in this episode is, well, we have the where to find people, then like doing the spiel of like actually doing this, committing time, whatever. And then if you do this right, you're going to end up with like more people you could hang out with than you have time. Right. So it becomes about like being intentional. Like whom do you then actually want to befriend? And like for a long time, I felt like this felt like very icky to me. It's like you're like selecting people to
Yeah.
or like you're shopping around for friendships or like you're like there's this saying of like you're the average of the 5
Yeah.
people you hang out most with. So like make sure you hang out with like high achieving da 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 da. And that always felt like so wrong to me. It's like you're using people.
Yeah.
But you can also like completely flip this around, right? Like it's like think about like the dating example, right? It's not like you just date the first person that you meet on the street because you don't want to like use people or shop for people. No, you want to date people you like, right? And like same applies to friends, right? Like you, I think it just anyway, like maybe this is like super obvious, like but being intentional here makes
Yeah.
sense, right?
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
what does it mean to be intentional? I think one thing is to just like feel into like how do you feel when hanging out with this person? Like does it feel easy? Do you feel like you have to put
Yeah.
on a mask? Like if you're really honest with yourself, would you rather be at home playing video games right now, or would you rather hang out with that person right now? Right? Like how do your lifestyles match? Right? It's like I have a bunch of friends who like only went raving every day. And like as much as I love them, but like this is like you can easily get into this group of friendship of people where like it's like bad habits reinforcing each other. Right? I have like this friend of mine, she during college was assigned to a dorm when like in that dorm everybody was smoking weed. And
Oh
like
my God.
4 weeks into it, she was also smoking weed because like what are you gonna do? Like everybody's smoking weed. So so yes, like kind of selecting for the lifestyle you want to achieve, and maybe you want to smoke weed all day, and great, and like try to find those people, right? And I think the last thing there that it isn't quite as much talked about, but has a massive influence on everything is status, right? I was like, a nicer word for
Okay.
status is values, but like taking a step back and it's like, what is actually like socially rewarded with this friend or in this group of friends is like, I think we're now in a society where there isn't like the thing that's status anymore, right? It's like, it's not like money is status or a car is status, or it's like super like micro status actually, right? It's like in some communities, a fancy sport car might give you status. In others, it's like being aware of like intersectional feminism and like applying this day to day in your life, right? Like, and all of these, yeah, by choosing whom to be friends with, you kind of choose what status
Yeah.
or what
Yeah.
values am I aligning my life with, and it's yeah can have a huge impact. And I think the one way to explore this is to like just maybe take a step back and like journal a bit about like what actually gives me status, right? It's like what is rewarded my current friends group, and
Yeah.
I try to do that. I found that's like super interesting exercise to try.
Yeah. And see how it reflects with your sort of like true intuitive values as well, maybe, and
Yeah,
maybe adjust if you feel, because I think where it can be quite painful, it's almost like, where you're kind of being fake is where you feel misaligned, and then,
yeah,
you're not even going to feel that good about it.
yeah, yeah,
I think the other thing in terms of like selecting friends, I think you can also frame it as, it's for them as well. Because I think most people would not want to have a friend who, it is not like feeling aligned with them, or like not feeling good around them. So, I think you can frame it in a way where it's actually also for the other person as well as yourself. So,
no, 100%. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I tend to have a habit where I'm quite conflict avoidant. And this framing always helps me to get out of this. It's like, I think I'm being conflict avoidant to not hurt the other person, but like by being conflict avoidant,
Yeah.
I'm hurting them even more, no? Because I'm not even like giving them
Yeah.
my true self or being honest with
Yeah.
them. So yeah, totally, fully agree.
Yeah. And maybe finally, I find this data thing so interesting because it's especially like, I guess, prevalent when you kind of move into a different space. Like I joined a new sports group recently, and like,
Right.
well, obviously when you're new, you have no, you have no status in the group, and it was just so interesting to like experience that, and, feel that like difference of a group where you're like new, you haven't sort of proved anything or whatever.
Yeah.
Versus your, I guess, groups where you're more known. And yeah, it was just very interesting. So, suddenly your jokes are not as funny, and maybe I'm just not funny in the first place, but I thought, I just find it's kind of interesting to experiment and like feel the like visceral difference
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, more to explore there for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's all for today. I think if you wanted to try applying those, I would just try to make a habit of making time for friends or finding new ones. I will personally try to make a habit of like approaching strangers. Still going to find out exactly how much, but I think it's a fun little challenge, and I'm always positively surprised when I do it. So I definitely want to do it more often. Yeah, and then tomorrow, not tomorrow, but next week, I think it's going to be about like being the spark, being the engine for connection, and like how to create more social happenings.
Oh, fun. That's a good one. Amazing. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We will see you next week.
Cool. See you next week.